one guy put a mention on about Steel, how he hates Steel's guts.
That's funny.
Bro, people hate
Still one
Steel.
of the funniest people I've ever heard have conversations in my life. I be at
People
home
hate
with
Steel.
my headphones on. My girl be looking at me crazy the way I be laughing when he be on the podcast.
I
Oh, it's
don't know
too
why
funny.
people hate Steel so much, but they
Me,
hate
he's like the
Steel.
most mellow,
That
nice
man,
guy.
that man said he sell his soul for $50 million. Like, bro.
I'd sell mine for 5. Christ. I'll take 50 grand. I'll give him a whole comma.
You ever seen the episode of The Simpsons? Feel me? When Bart didn't believe in selling his soul and he sold his soul to Millhouse for $5. When it was
Yes.
time to cross over purgatory to heaven, and it was a rowboat, and you is like in the middle, and like you're rocking your soul. It's you and your soul, and both of y'all floating backwards, and you gonna be that motherfucker floating in a circle because you don't think your soul is real. You already like in theory part of the rose gold community, so it's a question about the lack there is of such subject. So I don't understand how you
Yeah.
play with it.
I mean,
It's a lot of
I
conversations. I
have heard
mean,
that.
I think it's been propagated by South Park. They kind of like Scott Tenorman. You know, there's a lot of questions about the rose gold community, proper terminology. We
I
don't use
appreciate that
ginger,
too,
it's
by
the
the way.
rose gold
That's great.
community.
Yeah.
You feel me? And the lack there is of soul.
It's like you
That's something
guys
that they say.
have monopolized soul at the expense of our even being able to have a soul in general.
That is true. But you know what? Whenever people talk about soul, they speak about it in the darkest sense 99% of the time. Like the darker your soul is, they be like, oh, he sings with so much soul. Or if your food is a little dark, oh, it's just soul food. It's just
But like soul in that context, when people talk about their soul, it's kind of morbid and negative, like the great beyond and death and all that shit. But like you guys have a positive. If you have soul, it's like a positive. Or it's like if you have a soul, it's like a bare minimum. For me, it's like, oh well, yeah, you're not gonna stomp on a bunch of kittens. But you guys have soul. It's like, oh man, that guy's got some soul. That's great.
Speaking of media, I think that is the soul. And don't get me wrong, I'm not an atheist. I'm a religious person, but I think the soul and the marketing of your soul, this whole heaven and hell concept, all of it is just marketing. It's just good marketing. I just honestly believe
well,
it's all good marketing that we've been sold. Because what is a soul? What is your soul? That's my personal question. I just feel like it's marketed as like this inner being, like the force kind of.
I've
Instead,
I've
they just call it soul.
I've
Yeah.
I've been on this podcast and noted to say that the greatest marketing meeting ever was the gathering, the Council of Nicaea. I don't know if you know what that is, right? TP it's when all the different popes and spiritual and religious men came together in Europe and decided how Christianity was going to proceed at that point. It's like look it up once we jump off.
No,
It's
I'm
super
looking at it
dope.
right
It's like
now, but I'm listening.
hundreds of men that came together and decided how we would view Jesus Christ and Christianity. So when you saying that, it's not like a new idea that a lot of the ways we view, because religion is defined as just a belief in God, but we talk about different disciplines as if they are religion when in reality they're just more practices and ideas. um but the Council of Nicaea, I've been on record saying it's the greatest marketing meeting in the history of mankind
No, I
because
was.
it
I'm looking at
determined
this.
how billions of people would live their life. You know what I mean? Per generation, not at like at that time. You got to think we're talking about this point. We might be talking about hundreds of billions of people that have been on this earth, right? And somehow came through Christianity and Catholicism.
Yeah, no, literally, it
Billions of
says the
people.
Catholic Church, Eastern Orthodox Church, Oriental Orthodox Church, Assyrian Church of the East, Ancient Church of the East, the Anglican Communion, and Lutheranism all accepted the whatever came from this conference. That's like a supreme unification of like That's
Yeah.
almost like the NFL getting the AFL.
It's
And
like
they
the
met for
constitutional
like,
convention, but of
yeah,
religion.
and they met for like weeks. It wasn't like, a convention for like a couple of days. It was like weeks to decide this. And one of the main stories is one of the first people to establish a mass gathering of Jesus Christ was a priest out of Africa, priest Arius, right? So priest Arian, excuse me, priest Arius. And he believed in theory almost all of the same ideas, except he believed God was by himself and Jesus was his son. And the separation between what he had his mass following believing and practicing versus where the council was heading into what we call the Holy Trinity, where the Holy Spirit, God, and Jesus are of one entity, one energy. And they actually kicked him out and actually put out horrible media on him to kill his following.
Were the African followers of Arius called the Arians?
Low key. It's important that you know that.
Yeah.
See, some of
Yes,
this
they
shit
actually were. They were called
Yeah.
Aryans.
is some of this shit that these people flip around like the Nazi symbol. It's a lot of spiritual belief or religious base to what's going on. People just don't know. That's why you got to be real careful what you fuck with and what you say and what you respond with. No ceilings, G Lo, my man Peter Boss in the Spitz Knot, and I got my partner, almost like a resident guest, even though he's not always on. We have to use him a lot more this season.
Yeah, this is a
My
fact.
man TPJ from one of my favorite podcasts. You know what I'm saying? But he's such a brilliant man, so I don't want to condemn him to just the sports. He has a wide range of views on multiple things. So thanks for fucking with us, TP.
No, man. Thank you for inviting me on. I enjoy listening to the conversations you guys have because I just like how pointed they are. Like
Yeah,
usually it's you guys are sticking on one subject versus a lot of the people they jump around. So I like how pointed y'all conversations are, and a lot of the times I wind up thinking about the stuff y'all talk about afterwards, just because it was so heavily focused on one thing. And I don't know if y'all understand that, but like because you all focus on one subject every episode, it's always points where afterwards I'm like, that's interesting. I might live with that conversation for a day. So shout out to y'all.
That's pretty
thank
cool. I
you.
appreciate that a lot.
Say that again, Pete.
I said that's very cool. I appreciate it a lot.
And
Yeah,
shout out to
yeah,
Big Steel, even though he ain't here, because he be on
yeah,
here
man.
wilding
Yeah,
out.
what's up,
Still,
Steel?
people cut
What up,
Steel
Big Steel?
out. It's funny because Steele's like, so when he first got in the podcasting, right, and started taking on his journey in media, like he was talking to me about it in 2015, 16. I didn't even know what the fuck podcasting was. I'm like, first off, I don't want to be a part of the media. Like, I don't like that part of it. You know what I mean? Like, I respect media because I think it's a skilled position. It requires a lot of research, a lot of work. But obviously, we're in today's time where motherfuckers just started YouTube and they are considered media. I mean, I was just reading some shit. It's been popping up over the last month, where Cardi B sued this lady named Tasha because I guess the statement she was making about Cardi B was slanderous and untrue. And
Those are hilarious claims.
what's the
Like
claim?
you got a lot of
Yeah, I didn't see
fucking
the
nerve,
claim.
Cardi.
So I didn't see the claims. So you got to tell me what
In
is
a
the
in a
claim
roundabout
against Big
nature,
Smoke?
she didn't like the story she was posting about her, and she felt like they were salacious in nature and damaging to her business, and that's why she sued her. Which is the interesting part about America and marketing and media, because journalists usually are like kind of kept out of that whole like lawsuit thing in terms of suing them
Sure.
for like slander and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
now with these blogs and these bloggers acting like personalities, now it kind of like makes it way easier for them to get sued for what they say, because your account is not really like I guess these celebrities be arguing like, well, your account is not really an account. It's really like your personal brand and feelings. So if you report these things about me that's not true and you harming my brand, I'm suing you. But I honestly think all this stuff is her trying to make an example out of her and scare everybody else that might want to post anything that might be negative about her.
What
For sure.
what do you know the claims, Pete?
The claims in the article that we read that they were malicious defamation claims that she was a prostitute, that she used cocaine, that she had herpes. Now, the first two
Sheesh.
don't seem particularly like
Are
they
you
had the metal to hold up in court. The third one, you can't bring because of HIPAA. You can't be compelled to bring medical documentation into a courtroom of any kind, regardless of the accusation. So yeah, I mean, and it's strange also that she's a YouTuber. Section 230 of that federal law, protects YouTube from being sued. She couldn't go for the big bucks. You can't sue YouTube, but you can sue the
Yeah.
YouTuber, which is
Yeah.
it's weird.
I used to manage YouTubers. I used to work at a media company called Full Screen. It's no longer around, but I managed thousands of YouTubers and influencers over the years. And I remember when people don't remember this, but there was a time on YouTube where these prank channels were really big. So a lot of these guys, these white guys, started doing a bunch of like racist pranks. But I
Mm.
helped to like build with this software engineer who's like a mathematical genius or whatever. Helped him to build this algorithm in our network along with some other people that'll like surface the videos that are popping in our network. So we'll be able to talk to our creators when their videos pop, right? All these dudes start doing these crazy racist pranks. All of those shit started popping. As the manager, we were all like, yo, take these down because like you don't want to get sued by the people in the video because usually they didn't blur their faces out and all the other kind of stuff. So it's funny that like we were saying that back then about just like them performing pranks on people, but people spend their time on YouTube. I do it too with the basketball stuff. We just talk about these guys for hours on end and they can't say anything about it. I don't think they should be allowed to sue us, but I do think that like there is a responsibility that comes with having a platform that a lot of people in media don't realize because they just think it's like a social media page.
For sure. I
Mm.
mean, there was a Supreme Court case that had to do with the public figure clause, so to speak, which people are probably somewhat familiar with, where if someone's public forum, you can kind of say whatever. It's a much higher standard than if like my neighbor was spreading rumors around the building about me. Like that's easy.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that like Tasha K doesn't have Disney money that somebody on ABC News has to you know drag it out in court and take the oxygen out of the room.
Yeah, she ain't got a conglomerate behind her.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to Cardi B stripper days.
Mhm.
Let's say some guy said, "Hey, Cardi B, I got 2 racks for you. Let me take you home."
So, in
Knock
other
you down.
words, we're discussing a normal shift.
Well, I don't know if it's normal. I'm not gonna
A
see the
weekend
strippers
shift.
go whoop your ass if you start calling them all prostitutes.
Whatever. I know too many
Sure.
strippers and
I'm
spent
aware
too much
that I'm
time in the strip
aware.
club, and I
I know
know
too
good and
many strippers.
goddamn well that at 1:30 in the morning when that big tipper comes through, that big money comes up, man, that's happening. And they
Okay,
brag
so
about it. Hey, look, just don't say it was 500 because it was 5,000. As long as you lie up about the value of the pussy, they're not gonna complain.
okay, so let's say, right, one of these nights Cardi B took the 2,000. And let's say Tasha finds the guy, right? Tasha finds the guy who paid her 2,000,
Yes.
and then she gets him to come to court. Is the case dismissed?
No, because you can't technically disprove that she didn't use coke or that she has herpes.
But okay, what if you have a video of maybe she's at a party and she did a line?
You still can't do the herpes.
Yeah, I don't know if they will let that slide.
But
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying
also if it's something.
how do the courts
Yeah,
know she was not a prostitute and she's never done a line?
Burden of proof.
So it's up to you to prove it.
Yeah, it's up to you to prove that she did because you're essentially the accuser at that point. So if you don't have the proof, whether she did or not, you don't have the proof.
which is why if you didn't do that shit, you like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, but I don't think
But if
that's
you did
Cardi's.
do it,
I don't
I don't
think
think
that's
that's the issue
Cardi's
either.
particular situation.
I mean,
I
also, I'm not gonna lie. Somebody claiming I got diseases, G, you might have to see me too. I'm sorry.
I, you know what? I think
I'm
we're in
just
this
saying,
weird
like,
time.
fuck all of the other shit. Like,
That's what
why
I'm
you
saying.
like leave
I
my
agree.
fucking medical business out of this shit,
Yeah.
and then we won't have no problems, media member.
I agree, right? But I think we're living in this space that's a weird space for, you know, they're not millennials today. What are they today?
Generation Z, Gen Z.
Okay. Generation Zoo, right? Because it's wild as a motherfucker,
There you
right?
go. I like that.
Where they feel like they can say what they want to say and have no accountability. Like I witness it privately where I'm dealing with younger people or people that's on the internet and they like saying anything, right? They'll say whatever, like any type of disrespect. And they grow up in this realm, right? Where the media makes them think it's okay. It's like, well, they're told if you don't put your hands on somebody, you feel me, they can't do nothing to you. And that's just silly. Like that's the
I
one
agree,
thing.
but this is we also had this argument all the time because you do things where you know you're gonna get a reaction out of it, and I understand that there's a certain level of respect that people should operate with, but let's not act like you didn't like G. You didn't done some stuff in your career for marketing purposes that was gonna piss people off. Half of these conversations you do because you know they're gonna piss people off.
Or
So
is
when
it,
people
it
get
am I
mad at it, I
all I'm
feel them,
saying
but
is
it's certain lines people shouldn't cross, like the personal disrespect. I didn't see people make physical threats towards you, so I feel you on that. But
yeah,
a lot of the times, you know
but
you're
my
gonna get a
thing is,
reaction when you tweet that.
yeah, but am I lying?
Is that the point though?
That's always the point.
Even if we take you out of it,
If I say Pete, right? If I say Pete, you're white, and Pete is like, fuck you, you know, I didn't want you to tell people I was white, like it's not obvious. Am I really being, you know how I do what I do, right? And I understand why media covers what I do. You know why? Because my job, right, as a West Coast gangster rapper is to tell the truth unapologetically, right? You have a huge sector of hip hop that's just telling lies, right? And they leading people down the wrong path because they have no idea what the fuck they talking about. And then you have Glasses Low, right? And Glasses Malone is like, hey, this is the truth. Hey, this is how Tupac got died. This is how Tupac died. This is the mind state of the people involved in the situation. Here it is, directly the truth. Like I'm not altering it. I'm not giving you a perspective. I'm not doing anything to even make you go wow. To where we come
Yeah,
from
but
culturally.
I
Listen,
don't like that because this is part of the issue because
yeah.
you saying that undermines your intelligence when we know that you're not unintelligent. So you can't make me
How does it
believe that
undermine
when
my
you do certain
intelligence?
things, because
How
just
does it?
because you know that
How
they're
does
the
it?
truth doesn't mean that you aren't using them for marketing purposes to help disseminate your message through the media that you know gonna report on the stuff you say.
But isn't the truth? But but ain't that the whole point of the truth, right? The
Yeah,
whole
but
point.
everybody can say that it's the truth. Alex
No,
Jones said
no,
this
that
shit was the
everybody
truth, and they
can't.
kicked him the fuck off the internet.
Everybody can't say it's the truth. Everybody can't say
Exactly.
it's the truth. It can't be a troll if it's the truth. It can't be.
It definitely can be a troll if it's the
How?
truth. It definitely can be a troll if it's true.
Only if
trolls
you're kicking a dead
aren't
horse.
lies.
Only if you're kicking a dead horse.
But
I'm not kicking a dead
are
horse.
trolls liars?
Yes, trolls are liars. Every last one of them.
No,
Or they're stalkers.
they might be stalkers, yes,
I've
but
never
liars
stalked.
not necessarily.
Listen, I've never been on the internet and constantly tweeted someone in life. Like I'm not going to tweet you more than once. You have to tweet me. Like I'm not
But
going
that's not
like
trolling then.
But it's still the truth though.
Tro-
If they tweeting you, if they saying yo glasses, I don't like anything you do, but they tweet you that all day. They might be trolling you, but it's still their truth. But they
but
doing it
again, now
because they know
again,
that people are gonna see it and react to it. And
well,
then if you
nobody's
tell
gonna
them
see it
saying,
because
yo,
there's
I'm gonna
only three
beat
people
your
that follow
ass,
him.
it's
There's
somebody
like
only three
gonna
people that
see it.
follow that person, and I'm going to retweet it so everybody can see it.
it's
I'm
like
going to
my
give
cousin,
them
right?
the shit that they want.
But you also know it's good marketing for you. Like my brand, our basketball brand was built off of making people angry at what we say because
Yeah, but
I
all
we
you
would
have to do, my brand is rooted in telling the truth because everybody wants to avoid the truth.
But that's not everybody, and that's the part of the problem with the media. Is not everybody's brand is rooted in truth. Some people just want to see you out here fucked up.
I don't want to see nobody fucked up.
Yeah, but if you going out also eliciting reactions all the time, you also know that you're gonna get some reactions.
Yeah, but if it's the truth, what do you want? What do you want a human being to do, right? If he can't tell the truth?
It's okay.
I
Trolling
mean,
isn't
do you have to do
what
it on
you
the
say.
internet though?
It's when and where you say it.
I say it all the time in the barbershop. I'll say it in person. I say it on Twitter. There's no place I won't say it. Like it usually comes from the barbershop. The fucked up part is everything that I make content about, right? And that the media reports on was a conversation that happened in the barbershop. Great hip hop not only is, it's a level of art that makes comfortable people uncomfortable and it brings comfort to the uncomfortable. It also is very much private conversations in urban communities held publicly. Like somebody could say, I'm trolling Kim Kardashian, right? Because I made the song Kanye should have never married that bitch. Or they can say you're trolling Kanye. No, this is the conversation that TPJ is having in a barbershop. This is the conversation Pete is having in a barbershop. Glasses is just telling Kanye West, hey, this is what we think in the barbershop. Hey, Kim, this is what
Through a
we
marketing campaign though. But through a marketing campaign, people in a barbershop don't need a marketing campaign. They just speaking the truth.
I don't have no marketing campaign. I just drop a song and it's marketable. The truth is marketable.
You don't think the cover played into the marketing of the song?
Sure, I
You don't
thought
believe
it was
album covers matter?
I thought it was PG.
You didn't orchestrate that? You thought that was PG?
Ray J's. It could have been Ray J's penis.
But this is my point with you. You know, if it's somebody's penis or it's a cartoon of a similarly complexioned person sucking an eggplant, G, like you know that's gonna garner a reaction. And also the marketing behind it comes from you getting somebody to make this shit. So you
did it garner a reaction when it actually happened?
That's not. But you didn't. That the name of that song is That Actually Happened.
Is it not true? Did he not marry her?
That's your opinion, though.
You could have discussed anything you wanted at that time. You chose that.
No, it's not. It's again. Listen, I'm being honest.
I understand the song is not about that. The song is the song title, as with the Tupac song, is a conceptual piece. It's really meant to make you think, and then when you listen to the song, it's like, all right, cool. I get it's a different message than what the title of the song is.
No, it's giving
you could have just named that song That Bitch, and nobody would have thought anything about it. But you wanted to start a conversation.
No, I wanted to pass a message at the highest levels. See, my ideas start off as simple ideas, right? This is all I've been doing since I got into hip hop, right? And the relationship with what I do in media is I could tell the same exact story 10 times. I've told the same gangbanger cautionary tale 10 times. I told a story where me and J-Rock is in a song and I got killed. There's a song, you can go look up the video on YouTube. It's called No Sympathy. I get killed and J-Rock gets revenge for the fact
that was a troll. You were just giving false hope to the haters, and then you burst their bubble when you show up on the internet again the next day.
I just think people are looking at it like, again, first reaction. They're not listening to what's going on. The art is too much, right? It's like looking at the Mona Lisa thinking it's a transgender.
Generation Z does not too much.
So at that point, just because I don't concede to people who look at things surfacely doesn't mean that my intentions is to fool them. My
question is, why is your art too much? Like, it's not too much. It's perceived in the manner in which you want it to be perceived because you orchestrated it to evoke that sense of truth that you say it is. Like, I can see if like you just made the song, you uploaded it, and then somebody gave the song that name. But once you made the song and you gave the song that name, and then you made the album cover, the piece of art that you wanted to subject people to was going to inherently make them want to dive really deep and think about it. And they either think you disrespected them.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you why.
You're not a
But I'm gonna
surface
tell you
level
why I
artist though.
But I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that, right? And even the media helps people misunderstand because they're all intellectually lazy. Like Tupac Must Die is about the mind state of the person you're watching a video through eyes.
Yeah, I get
Nobody
that for
really
sure.
pays attention to that. So everybody felt like
How?
that was a
I
troll.
get that.
Just listen. Everybody was like, "Oh, you're trolling," or "He's clickbait." They're not realizing the person who's watching the video, I'm putting you in the mind. I'm letting you see the world from their eyes. That's why the video is shot in first person. Again, the depth of my content is confusing, but this is the only way I can still be deep and make something that the regular average person can get a bar of. Because if not, I'm going to make something entirely too deep. It's going to skip past the media, so the media doesn't have to report on it, which means the fans miss it.
Which
Tupac
is
Must
my whole
Die,
point. You are a master marketer,
but
and
it's not
even though it's
it's
your
not it's
truth,
not it's
it is
listen, but
marketing.
it's not marketing.
Like just
It's
like
still
Kanye, people
just
be like,
listen.
"Yo, he's wilding." No, he's marketing to you right now.
No, but he's not marketing. What Kanye does, right, specifically to the media, he understands he's a complex person who wears his emotions on his sleeve, right? So when he's not releasing content, he's not talking to you. He's not allowing you to hear his thoughts. He's not even going back and forth with you, right? When he starts to make pieces of content, shoes, art, anything, he allows you into his mind. That's what great artists do. He's not really like marketing. Like literally, he's taking. So normally he blocks you away from all of this shit he's thinking, all the crazy shit Cuz is thinking. He blocks the media away, keeps the paparazzi away from his house because he doesn't want that then. So that's why spells go without no Kanye, right? But then when it's time to release Donda 2, he allows you into his mental space.
Which
He's
is
not going out of his way,
marketing. It's
huh?
marketing.
It's
Glasses.
not,
It's media
listen,
marketing. It
it,
is.
listen, it's
It
marketable.
is. You just show up one day and be like, "Yo, I'm back on Twitter. And I'm finna tweet for the next
No, that's
27
not
days until my
marketing.
album drops, and
It's
then you won't hear from me for another 3 years."
it's not
You're marketing
marketing.
to me.
It's not marketing. It's marketable. Marketing, right, is very much a preconceived idea, right, in order to gain people's interest, right? You want to gain people interest in something. That's what marketing really reflects, right? Promotion is me telling you whatever the story about what I'm talking about. Publicity is somebody else telling you the story. Advertising is paying for the story to be told. Kanye literally just moves the gate as he's about to release content. And the things he do, right, is marketable. So Tupac Must Die, right? I put you in the face, right? I put you in his head. I let you see how it is to be one of us. That was his mind state once he got jumped, right? That's why he thought Tupac Must Die. It's not like it's more than marketing, right? Marketing, I read books on marketing for like 26 months.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I realized it really was? Telling the story. So the thing is, do I know little things? Sure, I know some things, right? I know you want to draw a line in the sand and throw rocks at everybody on the other side. But I'm not throwing rocks at Kanye. I'm not throwing rocks at Chloe. I'm not marketing to you. I'm giving you a cultural listen. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not bullshitting. I'm giving you a cultural lesson in West Coast hip hop that you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. And then I told the most important person in the culture because he tried to turn a hoe into a housewife. That's marketable. I'm not marketing shit to you. I'm giving you something marketable because you know it's true. You know Kim is a hoe, and you know Kanye tried to turn her into a housewife. Now, whether you agree or not on the cultural lesson of West Coast gangster rap and hip hop that you can or can't turn her into hip hop, some people think you can. But that's the point. Some people don't think it's right to be a crip and may have to take a life to survive, where we at. That's the point of it. I'm introducing you into culture further. And I'm passing the information, right, to the most successful people that's in the culture. Because I think they were avoided. So me telling Kanye,
I got one
hey,
last question on that when you finish this. My question is, all right, cool. So if you change the name of the song to something that does not have his name, like I said, if you just name the song That Bitch,
sure.
right? Do the same lessons that you trying to get across still come across.
No,
Yes,
listen.
no, that's what
Are
I'm
the
saying.
lessons
Yes,
in the
they
song?
do. They
Listen,
do. But
are
no,
the
one second,
lessons? Are the lessons?
But the
Let me.
specific
I'm
marketing
gonna answer the
concept
question.
behind what you did was like, I'm gonna
You
give you the
asking me a
best
question, and I'm.
example
You
of what
asking
this
me a question.
is.
I'm gonna answer the question.
Go ahead.
You said is the same lessons there? Yes.
But it's not marketable if you just name it that bitch.
That again, it is marketable, right? Is it as marketable? No, because you know why? You're passing information onto deaf ears. Nobody knows who you're talking about. Nobody knows who's a hoe. You're not even separating who's a hoe and who's not. At that point, everybody is left to speculation. And this song specifically with that title, I told you who the biggest hoe in the game was that somebody tried to wife. Now, again, right? A hoe don't mean it's a prostitute. So no disrespect to Kim. I'm sure she still feels disrespected. I'm sorry. This is Ye's wife. But again, brother, this is an important and it's a cautionary tale of what's happening. The reason you're going through all this shit with this lady, with this white lady, you feel me, is because of this shit. It's because she already weaponized her vagina. That's what makes her a hoe. And she's weaponized her vagina to the highest level that we've ever seen in our lifetime.
And on top of that, and she's now completely degraded the name Pete by bringing a Pete into the equation. That's fucked up the whole situation for my life. It's even
Pete
worse than it
might
was
be
with
fire
I'm
Scott.
right
sorry
now.
for no white dude named Pete at this moment. No disrespect.
Let me tell you something.
Disrespect has been taken.
Pete right now, white Pete's is popping.
And by the way, y'all winning. Y'all not losing.
Yeah, white Pete's is popping.
Ye is
No,
doing
we're
nothing,
not.
but honestly, yes, y'all are. You
Yeah,
want to know
Ye
why?
is raising the
Because
value
he
of
is
white
going
Pete.
to war with a comedian. You will never win. Period.
But now every other person in the city has "White Pete Must Die" as the song blaring in their car.
No,
So
that's
what?
not true.
But you know what? Doesn't.
Nobody outside of Kanye wants anything to happen to Pete.
Nobody
Maybe
wants
not
to happen
that
to
Pete. This Pete has had a target on his back for the past 15 years.
But
And I don't
now
need it
it's
to get
making it
amplified
sweeter.
by some other random Pete.
But now the media is making it sweet to be a white Pete.
Ain't nothing sweet about
Now
being a white
but
Pete. I'll
now
tell you
you're
that
the
right
victim.
now.
You're the victim now.
You are it. And they keep talking about that white man dick size and all kind of crazy shit. You might get some pussy. You might need to send Pete
Half the
some
pussy
flowers.
I've ever gotten in my life was just out of curiosity on behalf of the other woman.
So now that's going to be 4 times the opportunities thanks to the media reporting on White Pete. White Pete Jr., because you're the first White Pete.
He's not wrong.
I
Big white
appreciate you giving me that
You're big
respect.
white
That's
Pete.
more
He
than I've
low
gotten
white
from
Pete.
anybody else in the media to this point.
But again, listen. Do I think do I think Kanye is marketing? No. I think Kanye is marketable. And I think Kanye allows himself to be pure Kanye so you can market it. That's the thing. Like, you were saying you think I'm marketing, right? And I'm not. What I realized was the only way you can really make your mark in hip hop, right, and have the media support you is to be the purest version of who you are. And when I'm saying pure, I mean pure, like unapologetically pure, glasses low. And so whoever I am, like when the camera is off, I have to be that version
Yeah.
in front of the camera.
I
So
got
if
it
it's
real
something
quick.
I think it's the truth. Like I'm gonna say it.
I could take us down a rabbit hole, but I'm not gonna do that. But go ahead.
I got time. About 27
Go ahead,
minutes.
Pete.
Real quick. I was on a call. I muted myself. I didn't want to participate in, but I was Glasses and 50 Cent today. We're on the phone for like a half hour talking about stuff. And 50 made some really good points about hip hop. He was saying like when in '03 or whatever, when his first album came out, he got super famous just being himself, like a guy from the hood from Queens with the bullet holes and
shot
stab
9
wounds and all that
times.
shit, all of it. And he goes, the thing he learned about all the suburban white fans that liked his music, along with everybody else from the Queens and Detroits of the world that did as well, was like he was the embodiment of taking risks that people who had something to lose wouldn't take. You couldn't rationalize taking the risk that he would take. As most people in a random audience. It's the general curve of the population distribution. I was pretty astute to pick up on that. It's true, and I agree with you that a lot of hip hop is about being like unapologetically willing to just go pursue, regardless of risk or consequences. And a lot of that, there's a lot of controversy built into that because it's an abnormal, behavior for the average population.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, I mean, even with our podcast, like we were the first YouTube podcast on a sports channel. We have a YouTube channel with 1.5 billion views and 1.9 million subscribers. And I remember when I was working at a job still while I was working on it as it was like getting taken off, people were like telling me that I was like crazy. And I was just like, nah, I'm not crazy. They're like, bro, you're on the internet, you're screaming, you're cursing, and you're drinking beer, and you're still working in corporate America. I said, yeah, but is the work not done? Do you need me to leave? You want me to leave? No, we good. All right, then keep doing what you're doing. But with that, also, I think the best marketers usually don't have to think about it. They just market it. Like I think even when we talk about like religion and stuff, like I think people that are good inherently at disseminating a message don't have to focus on disseminating their message because their message is constant. It's like me. Like if you know me personally, you know what I'm about, and I don't walk around saying I work hard, I'm the hardest working in the room, whatever. People just see me work and they see the output and how it goes, and they're like, yo, this is who you are. But that's a part of my brand, and it's not marketed, it's just genuine. But my brand is loud, it's being loud, brash, and working hard.
Yeah, but that's my point. And I think again, like because I have been, somebody in media has said that. Do I think that do I think that I'm going too far for attention? And I'm like, I'm just being me. Like anybody who knows me, whether it's a mic or not, this shit is pretty 100. I don't do nothing extra when this shit come on. If we talking sports, right, and I'm on your podcast, right, participating from a media perspective, and I'm like, yo, Zion Williamson is huge. Like his so big, his jersey looks like a G Unit tank top. Like, bro, look at his jersey. And then you'll be like, yo, it does. Feel me? Now, I'm not like, oh, he's a fat ass nigga. Yeah, I'm not like, even when I made Tupac Must Die, I never said, yo, this dude is a buster or fuck him, bitch. I didn't say none of that. What Kanye should have never married that bitch. Honestly, I didn't really say anything crazy about Kim. Really, the whole song addresses Kim to some degree, but it's all pretty much things she did. It's all the fact she does have plastic surgery. It's all the fact she is weaponizing her vagina. It is the fact that, yay, she did all of these things before you, and it's going to be hard to change who she is. And it's very much exactly what it is. I'm not saying, that's why I don't get, like, you have 100 rappers who media support, right? I was looking at it because I just dropped Kanye should have never married that bitch. And my whole plight with media. And so when you put out a song, right, TP, like a playlisting is referred to as editorials, right? And editorials is pretty much one of the top 3 ways people discover music today, right? Playlisting, editorials, right? So I went to people and I pitched the song for editorials. Some people was like, man, I don't want to get involved because I don't want Ye to be mad at me or Ye could trip, this, that, and the third. Feel me? Again, it's like we're in a space to where everybody's scared to just be pure. They won't let hip hop be pure. And it was always like that. NWA, straight out of Fuck the Police didn't get support. It's a lot of times it didn't get support. And a lot of the different content initially didn't get support because people were scared. But that's what great hip hop was. And now hip hop is being presided over by people that are comfortable. See, when hip hop first in its inception, the 80s and early 90s, it was still people in the culture of, a part of it. So they didn't mind taking the risk. Now we're in 2022. I had a dude say, man, I want to interview you, right? A media man say he want to interview me, but he's worried about the LGBT lashback because of the tweet outbreak, or he didn't call it the outbreak. He said the tweet exchange I had with Lil Nas X.
That was
And
part
I
of the
said,
wormhole I talked about because you
right, and I
talked
said,
about being authentic and being your true self. We had an argument on the phone about this. I said, what if that's just his true self, but you don't like it because you feel like it's marketing?
no, it's not his true self. See, the thing is, when something is real, you can sniff it. And see, this is the thing about my gifts. It sounds crazy. Everybody don't have it. That's why I could tell you, Ye is not trying. I could sniff it. You could feel it. It's something you could feel. Lil Nas X realized he had a hitch and took advantage of it. That's why his music is coming across. That's why his music is coming across corny at times. See, the little brother not a corny person. He understands people like corny. He understands that you can't condemn art
He's
because
a
of his
troll
situation.
speaking his truth.
Well, it's not a truth, right? It's also a thing made to sell records. It's also a thing made to rally people behind you.
But Pete,
See,
this is my question. I want to ask Pete this question, but
Hmm.
because obviously we know what he thinks. Do you think that Lil Nas X is sheerly marketing and none of that is his truth and it's all a marketing campaign, or do you think that the marketing campaign is supplemented by what is actually his truth? Because we saw the version of him where he claims it wasn't his truth, which gave you the one of the biggest songs to ever live. Then he completely changes his marketing and goes to living his truth, and now it's perceived as marketing.
Again,
Personally,
what you're saying,
Well,
living
now
the
I
truth.
asked Pete. I asked Pete Glasses. I asked Pete because I
Sure.
want to know what he think about it. Do
um,
you?
I think that guy is
You can
like
be honest.
virtually
I don't
all
have. Yeah.
marketing. Like
So no
virtually all
truth.
marketing.
No truth.
I think there's some more so the bigger that he gets,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that truthfully, as he becomes like having his critical mass, he's like too big to failish a little bit. You get a little bit more of it, but to this to that point to get there, he was just like, I'm gonna just say whatever I gotta say, however I gotta say it.
Okay. That's unfortunate because then it means he's stuck in a world of being like a media or whatever because he got to do whatever the media is looking at as being hot, which is the interesting part for me about media with all these young artists. And I could get why an editorial person might not say that, but also this is part of the thing. I knowing you Glasses, I would have thought you would have thought about the editorial before you named the song Kanye should have never married that bitch.
Of course I did. But my nuts is bigger than everybody else.
I respect that.
So that's why I'm telling you it's not marketing. Because I knew what I would sacrifice in editorials and kickback when I did Tupac Must Die. Every time I tell the truth, I understand what comes with it. That's why I know I'm not marketing. Feel me? It's no marketing because I know for sure I'm going to lose something in publicity. The last two songs I released, I haven't been able to run ads on them. It won't even let me advertise them. I know this is going to happen. I know when I make the cover of Kim eating a eggplant, right? They're not going to let me advertise that. I know when I make Tupac Must Die, they're not going to let me advertise it. I know I'm going to lack in editorials in the publicity space. I know media, certain radio stations are going to rally against me. I'm not marketing. The fact it's marketable because it is the truth. Polarity creates power.
And
I'm
the
a
media loves
powerful human
polarity.
being. I'm a powerful human being, period. So when I start to generate my art, true art, right, it's powerful. But I'm not marketing because I know I'm cutting everything off. I'm cutting a lot of shit off.
Sure.
And I know it. And you knew I knew it because I could tell you. I said, when we talked about Kanye should have never married that bitch, I said, I'm not gonna be able to run ads on this.
Now I remember when you sent it
Oh,
to
my
me
niggas,
originally.
I'm like, they're not going to take certain editorial. That's not my job. My job is to create devastatingly truth, devastating, truth reflecting art, right? At the highest levels, rooted in the culture that I have the most information and wisdom in, right? Which is this West Coast gang banging street life. I'm an expert at this shit. I've literally studied it and kept my wits. I didn't smoke sherm. I got all the brain cells. I didn't smoke weed. I didn't drink no alcohol. I saw it all and asked questions of it all. So what I didn't understand about other people, I figured it out because I asked them enough times. My job is to generate that to the media and to the public. Are they going to accept it? No. Can I make something they accept? Hell yeah. I can make something that good. They accepted it. I knew exactly they would. We, me, DJ Head, Tommy Guns, Jim Nays, Peru, Ty Dolla Sign, C Ballin contrived that whole idea and knew we could make the public move to that. It became my biggest song, period.
That was good marketing.
That's we marketed then. And I didn't know shit about marketing. I just knew people like pussy. And if I made a song about getting pussy, it would make sense.
Now, a quick question. You called me one day and you said, Tom, I've been studying music and I figured out what I need to like what's the next evolution, because we were just talking and you was like, and what I need to do with my art. And I'm trying to, and you basically you saying that how you was moving in a different direction. So is your new concept now to only be living in truth and be anti-marketing to market?
Well, again,
because you still want some level of marketing. You still want people to see it. So is it just the point of I'm gonna be so brash, you gonna see it and like I don't know. Does that make sense? Like sure, I feel like people feel that way about gratuitous movies where they're like, I like watching them, but sometimes people will argue against them being gratuitous. But sometimes the filmmaker is using the gratuitous nature of murder or whatever it may be to prove a point.
No, right? So there's a little part of that makes sense, but the main part of it, let me just wrap that whole shit up, right? Because it is a relationship with the media, right? The reality is traditionally West Coast hip hop, aka gangster rap, has only worked when it's been truthful and unapologetic, when it's been pure. Like when you being purely you, that's your greatest chance to be successful. So what you see me doing now is being purely me. Purely, like no cuts. Ye in my top 5. Love Ye with all my heart. Have no problem with Kim. No personal problem outside of the fact she's one of the worst role models for the women today. You know what I'm saying? Like generally, but I wouldn't make a song like fuck Kim Kardashian or fuck Chloe. I'm not vested in them hoes like that. Just not. What I realized that day is I needed to be purely myself. Concentrate, nigga. Like vanilla extract. Concentrate. To where this is the only place you can get this. And the more I purify it, the more when somebody comes looking for it, they can only come here to get it. Because nobody else is going to do that in 2022. Nobody in hip hop is going to do that in 2020. Can't nobody be me because there's only one me. And at that point, feel me, people come looking for you. They tired of, man, listen. This is the second time, right? I've pretty much pissed off somebody in my top 5. The first time was Rick Ross, right? The second time is Kanye West. It's okay. I'm not saying anything to take light off of them brothers. I'm talking about the relations and how my progress is, and I relate it to whatever the material is. If I'm talking about being a drug dealer and Rick Ross, I'll explain the difference in the type of drug dealers we are and the type of music we make. That part can be offensive, but it's what it is. Same thing with Ye. If I talk about how we deal with women and how he deal with women, it's going to be different. So I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? I have to be the purest version of me, right? And eventually media understands, hey, if you want that pure, they're going to tell everybody, go right there. Because this is the only motherfucker in town with it. The only motherfucker in town with it. That's the relationship me and media has to have. We have to have this, that's pure. He don't give a fuck if you're not going to support him. He don't give a fuck what you think. This is pure. So when they writing and they're telling people, hey, but that right there is unapologetically that. This is the closest thing that you'll ever get to Ice Cube, to Snoop Dogg. This is the closest, because this is pure. This is raw motherfucking Peruvian flake, like them older niggas used to say when they used to be talking about cocaine. Peruvian. You feel me? It's that work. So I have to purify it. Trust me, if I wanted to market, I market it. Dog, that good became a #1 station on 20 West Coast stations. It's easy. It's easy. I know how to say exactly what people want to hear. That's not who I am as a human being. That's not what the brand of glasses is. That's not what the product glasses is. Nigga, in my lifetime, I've never said, whether it's my older homies from my hood, feel me, whether it's media, feel me, I've never said what people wanted me to say. I've always said what I actually process and
I
thought.
can definitely believe that for a fact. I do got a question for both of y'all because I know y'all. I heard y'all last episode. Y'all was talking about the war in Ukraine. How do you all feel the media has covered this situation?
That's marketing.
Just
They're
like,
marketing
yeah,
Ukraine
I'm
to
just
American
asking.
citizens.
Yeah, I mean, I Russia and Ukraine are both putting out information that's true and information that's false. Our media runs with first information they get and they don't vet anything. They haven't for years vetted
And
anything.
everything they say is in the favor of Ukraine. I've
Absolutely,
consistently watched the marketing of it all.
of course,
They
of
are
course.
literally saying, hey, you should be down with Ukraine.
They
That's
have.
marketing.
I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like strategically they kind of have to.
Again, so I
If we
can't.
just if we just go and start taking over places, I would expect the rest of the world to be like, "Yo, what y'all doing?"
I mean, really, half the media in this country has to put up for Ukraine because they have to continue to play the anti-Russia card because they spent the last 5 years playing the anti-Russia card.
Yeah.
So they have to continue to
But my
demonize
thing
their
is,
integrity.
that's marketing because it's not genuine and it's not sincere. It's personally motivated purely. And it's not pure. That shit ain't pure. That shit whack. But again, man, everybody got to play their role. They playing their role. You feel me? I
Do
don't
you
really give a
think
fuck
banning
about
Trump
none of them
from
motherfuckers.
social media was bad for media? Because I don't even see him on media really. I might see him do a phone
He's
call, but
opening his
like,
own media company right now.
Who was that?
yeah, I saw that, but I also saw reports that like it's been floundering a little bit because they had a beta launch that didn't go the way they wanted it to.
Yeah, and it's only on Apple. It's not even. It's not
Yeah,
on. What do you call it? Android yet? So they're it's a work in progress. I was looking at like the tech behind it and everything like that. They're not even there on that side of it. But that's
yeah.
where the
Do you
focus
think it
is.
was bad for media to ban him though? Like, because I don't see him at all, and now obviously he was on the internet a lot of the times, but I still feel like he has kind of been banned from media altogether, except for the very few right wing places that he
Here's
could
a
go.
better question. Here's a better question for both of y'all. Tell me the worst person they've ever banned before.
The
I'll
worst person.
name names. They banned Martin Luther King. They banned Malcolm X. They banned Muhammad Ali.
This is a very slippery slope. Please do. Never mind. Go ahead.
I'm just telling you, bro. They never in life ban bad people. They've never told a serial killer, hey, don't run that interview on that serial killer, ever. They send the news down there, Tom, and cover the serial killer. He'll do 1,000 interviews. Every media company in the world go cover a serial killer who murdered 90 people and let
I done
him just
seen so
talk.
many Ted Bundy stories on Netflix.
They
Yeah,
never ban, the media never bans them motherfuckers.
yeah. They
Every
brought
last
like
person they
World
banned
News Tonight
Farrakhan.
to Corcoran to interview Charles Manson.
Yeah, like the fuck. We know goddamn well anytime the media bans somebody, that person is probably somewhat decent for people historically.
Yeah,
Until they
The
ban one serial killer, don't do no interviews no more on this motherfucker that murdered 1,000. Nigga be eating. They did a interview with Jeffrey Dahmer because he was eating human beings and they were doing interviews with him. They didn't ban him from the media. You mean to tell me Trump is worse than Jeffrey Dahmer?
No, I don't. I think that it was a
Jeff
mistake
was
for them to
eating
ban him from
people.
media.
He was
it really
cooking
was
them and
bad for
eating them.
CNN. It cost him a fortune.
I think it was just bad for the world because if he is what people say he is, I would much rather have his public thoughts available than for him not to be able to speak at all and me got to worry about what the fuck is he doing when I don't see him talking in public.
Yeah,
Because people don't realize, especially a lot of Americans, now that he's been banned from social media and a lot of media things, like people that were anti him don't see him anymore. But he's still having rallies and campaigning in still being a politician. But when you ban him from the media, it's kind of like you never see him anymore. So
But
it's
you're
almost like
making
he
him,
doesn't exist.
you're
But I
making him
don't know if that's
powerful.
good. I, I,
Yeah,
I agree.
you're making him power. It's the same conversation we just had.
Yeah.
It's the same conversation where it's power in that, because then you're going to look for him. Right
They're
now, see,
afraid
when
of
they
the
had him in the
rhetoric being
media, they were
undermined.
able to discourage people. They were able to say, hey, you know, this person, he said, they were able to isolate quotes and comments and, you know, whatever. Without it, he has a direct pipeline to human beings. And right now, the way things are going, you're going to run people right back into him.
Oh yeah. Everybody's gonna run right back into his arms. Like a bad preacher that
Because
got
we
kicked
all knew
away
this
for
shit wouldn't
doing
have
whatever
happened.
he was doing and
We
came
all
back to
knew
save
this
the
shit.
congregation.
We all knew this Ukraine and Russia shit wouldn't happen if Orange was in office, bro.
People, some of the media claims he was compromised by them. So it's
You
like, I
can't be
don't know.
compromised by somebody you're not at
Yeah, I
war
mean,
with.
again, it's an unfounded claim. It's like
How
they
does Russia
So
investigated
compromise?
Trump.
is the urine tape real, or
That's fake.
that
It's
the
fake.
dossier is all fake?
It's all fake. Like I
Okay.
mean, it's fake as a matter of court record fake.
Yeah,
Like
see,
as a matter of they're taking
the
people
media.
to
It
they're
might have been.
federally indicting the people who released the information because it was
Oh,
fake.
It's
well,
almost. And
hey,
what's crazy is it's almost as bad as that Tasha Lake. I think there's a greater chance that Cardi B did a line and sucked a dick for a couple racks than that piss shit actually happened.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.